Alright guys, so here we go with the Lurker Below. So the first mechanic or the first ability I guess that you will encounter, which is my favorite, is his instant one-shot ability, which he can when he emerges from the depths, he automatically targets the ugliest character that is in melee range of him. And in some cases, this is not the tank. Sometimes people manage to look even worse than your tank. So in this case, one of your healers, one of your holies will instantly transform into an angel, or maybe you will just roll over and die. So yeah, the thing is that he emerges and sometimes he just instantly melee attacks, so he kills a player. Therefore, I would suggest to just stay out of melee range for the first split second, um, so that your tank can do at least one move on the boss, so that you're safe to go in. The other option is obviously to just gamble and stay in melee range so that you don't lose any uptime, but yeah, there's the risk of dying here. Alright, so the second ability that you will most likely encounter is an ability that is called Geyser. And what that does is he targets a random player, could be anyone, even the tank, and he doesn't really give you an animation for that. There's not even a timer or anything like that. It just happens. But what it does is it will knock back the player and deal 3 to 4k frost damage. But it will knock back any player that stands within 10 yards range of the targeted player as well. So the easiest counter to that is just to split up the raid a little bit, to avoid like taking too much damage and too much knockback from this ability. Um, yeah, if the tank gets knocked back, it's a little bit unfortunate. He might want to call that out, so as sooner he calls I got knocked back, or tank knockback, something like this, the sooner you can react, and yeah, then you are more likely to not lose any melee or any player that stands in range of the boss. There's one way for the tank to counter this, and this is um, to just stand like tank the boss, standing like the tank stands in the water, like the tank just jumps into the water and tanks the boss on a position where he stands like almost on the balls of the boss, if you want to call it like that. So as close as possible. So when he get hit by the geyser, the tank that is, he will not get knocked back too far, so he stays in melee range and no one get hurt. So yeah, this is the second ability. The third ability that you will most likely encounter uh, is the wheel ability. This one gets displayed like by a DBM timer, so you can plan out ahead on how you want to react to the ability, or what you want to do to counter the ability or to get profit, whatever. So the wheel ability is just another knockback that gets applied to everyone in melee range, including your tank. So your tank needs to step into the water before the knockback is happening, and therefore he doesn't get knocked back too far, so no one is going to die. The thing is that if your tank doesn't go into the water and stands on like the same position than your melees almost, there's a great chance that one of your melees will be faster at the boss than your original tank, and this melee will most likely get one shot. So tell your tank to step into the water and do it. If for whatever reason he is not able to do that, maybe he is not good enough, maybe he doesn't want to do that because he thinks he takes too much damage from the water, or maybe whatever. If he doesn't do that, if you can trust him, don't run too fast back to the boss when you got knocked back, because this killed me a couple of times, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not the only person that experienced this happening. So yeah, how to avoid it? It's on your tank, and if the tank doesn't want to, then it's on you. So yeah, don't run too fast back to the boss after the wheel. So both of these abilities damage you and give you rage. The wheel is predictable because of the timer and will give you around 30 rage if you do not pull Lurker Rage before the wheel is happening. When you pull Lurker Rage, it's around 60 rage, so you want to plan out for that. Try to stay like the rage that the damage gives you, so 30 or 60, depend if you pull Berserker Rage before. Plus the rage plus the rage of your auto attack that would plus the rage that an auto attack would give you below 100. So this means, let's say I generate 15 rage with one auto attack and the wheel gives me 30 rage. This means I want to stay 45 rage below 100 when the wheel is happening, which would translate to 55. So yeah, try to use your heroic strike in a way that you can manage to achieve that, because it will gain you at least a little bit of DPS. The other ability, the Geyser, gives you rage as well, right? But you can't really predict when this is happening. It's generally a good idea for every encounter to not stack your rage too high as an arms warrior, because every time you get like a lucky win fury proc or a sword spec with a crit in addition, you will generate a lot of rage in a split second. And yeah, so it's always a good idea to stay on like a nice healthy 50 to 60 rage marker, so that you will not overcap by any random events that could occur to your class or in your rotation, right? So yeah, the last ability from the boss himself that you will encounter is the laser beam, which is called Sprout, and this one, he fires a laser and then he turns in a circle. The direction, I mean, if he goes counterclockwise or clockwise, is not fixed. He can change that, not while he is casting that, but it could be that the first Sprout is going counterclockwise and the second one is going clockwise. So yeah, be aware of that. There are two ways to avoid this. The first one is to run around the boss so that you will never get hit by the Sprout, which is not really ideal for you as an arms warrior, because one of your most important abilities is a cast, right? So it's slam, and you can't just cast slam whenever you want, so you need to time it, and running around the boss could scuff your rotation actually quite a lot. So try to not run around the boss. Try the second method, which is a little bit easier as well, and this is just jump into the water. If you are in the water, the Sprout laser beam cannot hit you. And the water deals like 1000 damage every like 1 to 1.5 seconds. It depends a little bit on the servatics, I guess. I looked it up in the log. It's about 1 to 1.5 seconds in which frequency the water deals damage to you, and it's almost always a 1000 damage. So it's not really dangerous, to be honest. So I would need to stay in the water for 11 seconds or even more, most likely more, without getting any heal to die, and I only need like 3 seconds to avoid the Sprout. So jump into the water, just continue with your normal rotation, and if you find a window in your normal rotation where you can jump out without losing DPS, and the anti-laser beam has passed your character model, then you jump out of the water again. Do not jump while you're in the water though, because every time you make contact with the water, it will immediately tick for the 1000 damage that it just does. And yeah, it's other than lava jumping, where you can avoid lava damage completely by jumping in the right rhythm. On this water, this is not the case though. So try not to jump. In addition, if you jump out of the water while the sprout is like directly positioned over your character model, you will obviously get hit by it and just yeet away. But yeah, this sprout deals like 3500 damage, but it can hit you multiple times, and it has like a very high ticking rate, if you want to call it like that. Like it deals damage in very quick succession, so it's likely that you get hit more than once, and it's likely that you die. I don't know if you can charge mid-air back to the boss. I never saw someone do it, so I'm pretty sure that it doesn't work, and I didn't try it until now. So maybe if you want to do that, you could try. Like if it's already a wipe, you could try that and tell us other warriors in the comment of this video, in the comment section, if you can do that or not, or maybe you already know that. So this would be like really nice. Yeah, after that there is not really a lot to mention. There's one more thing about the water damage though, because the water damage counts as environmental damage. It's called in the logs and whatnot. And environmental damage, so environment damage that is dealt to you by the environment, like fall damage, I think is the same way, will not generate you any rage, sadly. So yeah, so you cannot just stay in the water or do some other funky things to increase your DPS on this boss, which would be like pretty broken if you could do that, because 1000 damage is like almost the perfect amount to just stay in the water and deal a lot of damage. But yeah, it's not possible, so not really a big point to talk more about that. Yeah, after that he submerges, which means that he is not available for any attacks anymore. And then there are some ads spawning. You most likely are assigned to focus on the melee ads that get tanked by your tanks on the main platform. And yeah, they hit really hard, so you do not want to pull aggro on them. In addition, they can cleave, so watch out for that. The cleave hits fairly hard as well, so yeah, be careful. Then you can try to help the rangers with their little ads on their platforms. Yeah, and after that it starts in P1 again. So yeah, that's like everything about the Lurker Below and how you can handle this boss the best ways. And I hope you learned something in this video again, and we will see each other of course in the next one. Bye bye.